Today's Did You Know real estate number is 3 million. That's the approximate number of real estate agents there are in the entire United States. Welcome into the First Time Keys podcast. This is your host, Adam McCallister, and glad to have you with us as we kick off episode number 6. Thank you again for making this part of your listening day. It is much appreciated. And wow, 3 million real estate agents across the country, known as the United States of America. That's insane. Uh, just to put that in perspective, if you took the entire population of Arkansas or Kansas, if everyone inside that state of Kansas or Arkansas was a real estate agent, that's just how many people in our country have their real estate license. That's right. You probably know right now of 7 different real estate agents. The entire population of the United States of America is just over 334 million. 3 million agents means there are basically 1% of the entire population of the country is an agent, and they keep recruiting more. Oh my God. What an insane number. Like, seriously. Oh my God. So if you haven't guessed by now, today's episode is all going to be about choosing the right agent to help you with buying your first home. And oh my God, I just can't get over that number. I didn't even research it until getting ready for today's show. I was like, man, just how many agents are there in the country? Like, I know how many there are in our local association here in South Central PA. If I look at York and Adams County, so York County, Adams County, right now our total number of agents in our area is around 1,400 agents. But going around the country, 3 million people have their real estate license. You think that might be a few too many? Think it might make choosing the right agent to work for you, who has your best interest at heart, a little more challenging? You better freaking believe it. If the entire population of Kansas had their license, that's the number. That's wow. All right. So mind blown today. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. Again, welcome in. This is the First Time Keys podcast. I am your host, Adam McCallister. And let me make the process of picking an agent for you. Let me give you some strategy. Let me make it a little bit easier for you, give you some things to think about. That way, you don't end up getting the wrong realtor and end up making regrets that are going to be just massively huge, way bigger than the avocado toast budget you're told not to consume anymore, or the coffee you're told not to drink, because you're supposed to save every single penny and not live while you're in the process of buying a home. So let's get into this because, believe it or not, the person who will play a starring role, I mean, the key person in the home buying process for you, it is your buyer's agent, it is your realtor. And you don't just want anyone holding your hand through this. You need the one. That's right. Just like when you're searching for that special someone that you want to put a ring on it, same thing for your realtor. You need the one. So here we go. Sit back, relax, grab your coffee or your wine or Uncle Adam's personal favorite, a little bourbon. Yeah. So, and for those of you who, are trying to abstain from drinking, maybe now is not the best time to be searching for a home because this will be stressful and you will consider things in life. But if you have the right agent, it will make the process easier throughout the entire piece of buying a home, the saga, if you would, of home buying. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Here we go. First things first, why even bother with a realtor? I mean, can't you just browse Zillow and fall in love with a house and then you find out it's already pending? Uh, are you ready to figure out all the paperwork yourself? Technically, Google exists. You could, but should you? The answer to that is absolutely not. And I say that not just as a realtor, not as someone who has done this for a long time and primarily helps first time home buyers, but there's a lot of things you've got to consider especially when it comes to making sure that the paperwork that you're doing is done correctly. Because at the end of the day, you are entering into a legally binding contract with some serious money connected to it. And you don't want to take that just sort of willy nilly or, oh, I saw this on YouTube, therefore I can DIY this and this will be fine. You don't want to put that amount of stress and responsibility into a, I hope so. You really want someone there who can guarantee you that what is being done for you and the paperwork that's being done and the process it's being taken care of correctly. Sorry. All right. So a good realtor will do everything from finding homes that fit your needs and most importantly, your budget to holding hands while you ugly cry over a rejected offer. We've all been there. I've been there. If there's one thing I hate even more than my clients, it's letting them know that we didn't win a multiple offer. And we do everything we possibly can to leverage the position that we have going into that situation. But there is nothing worse than me calling one of my clients and giving them the bad news and breaking their heart, knowing that they had already emotionally moved into that home. So, a great agent is going to be there to hold your hand through that time and help you through to the next one because their job is they're going to be navigating contracts, they're going to be handling your negotiations and 10 million other things that you didn't even know could go wrong or even were part of buying a home. So, in short, your realtor is not just there to be your agent, they're your guide, they're your therapist, they're your bartender, and they're also part-time magician. So, yeah, you're going to need one. So, let's get into what you don't want in a realtor. So let me first start with what you don't want in a realtor is the realtor who's working for the seller. Let me repeat that. You don't want the same realtor that's working for the seller. And I'm going to piss off a bunch of those 3 million agents now that are all going, "Well, I do dual agency and it's just fine." Yeah, cuz you're in the middle collecting a big ass check. But here's the deal. If you're trying to buy your first home, you want someone who's committed to looking out for you and only you. Because the minute the agent who's working for the seller, and by the way, let's break this down. The seller has an agent that's working for them. What's the job of working for the seller? It's to get the most amount of money in the quickest way, in the easiest terms to satisfy the seller. So if that's their job, looking out for the seller, trying to get them the most amount of money with the easiest terms for the seller is getting the most amount of money out of you, the buyer, with having you give up some comfort and most importantly, safety when it comes to putting the offer in on the home. Because maybe comfort for the seller is, hey, I'm looking for a buyer that's going to waive inspections. Do you really want that agent coming to you going, well, I think the seller would really like to take your offer if you'd waive inspections? Is that really looking out for your best interest? So, the first thing you don't want to do as a home buyer is be hiring the agent who's working for the seller. And again, dual agency in our state of Pennsylvania, 100% legal. You can do it. And I know plenty of agents who love doing dual agency. Me personally, I have a moral and ethical problem with it. And I'll tell you why. I look at it as think of a husband and wife getting a divorce. Wife wants one thing, husband wants other things, but they decide to use the same attorney. Well, can that same attorney really be looking out for what the wife wants and the husband wants? Probably not. But guess what they're doing? They're collecting a big ass check in the middle from both parties. So, sure, a lot of agents love dual agency for that reason. And they'll comment to me right now and complain that, well, I always look out for my people. Sure. I'm just saying if I was a home buyer, I would want someone specifically looking out for my interest that I don't have to guess whether or not any of it goes back to the seller. So there's red flag for me, number one, or thing you don't want. when you're looking for your own agent. Here's another number two. Here's another one. If your cousin's roommate's dog walker just got their license last week and is offering to help you, run. Run fast. This isn't the time for charity work. Now, some of you may be going, but I love my cousin's roommate's dog walker, and they're a really good person, and they take really great care of Layla, my dog. They can. But do you really want to trust your most expensive, the highest purchase you've ever made in your life to someone who's just getting started and really doesn't know that much more than what you do as a consumer? Let's face it, there's a ton of information now out there that as a consumer, and there are times most of my buyers will come to me going, hey, we saw this house. And sometimes it is the house. Now, what you can do if you really love that person who just got their license, maybe they want to partner with a more veteran agent. We have agents on our team that I help mentor. And as a prime example, I had one that went with me this past Saturday, this past weekend, and they were doing some shadowing so I could train them through the process and be able to answer questions and help them through it. If that's the situation, 100%, that's a great way to get them some experience and get them started. But I wouldn't trust the biggest purchase of my life with someone who really doesn't even really know the ins and outs of a contract yet. There's person number two, realtor number two, you probably want to avoid, though could, with an exception or two, be an agent because we all have an area where we all got to get started. And there's nothing wrong as well as long as they're willing to work with a veteran agent that you can call on when questions come up. So there's number two. Number three, avoid anyone who promises you the moon, the stars, and everything you can think of. If you hear, like, we'll get you the house for half the list price in this market, sure, sure, Jan, bet you will. And I'll grow 6 inches taller tomorrow. Look for honesty, not fairy tales. One of the biggest pieces that we have to make is if you've got a great agent, one of the biggest pieces we've got to do is sometimes have those difficult conversations. We got to have the conversations and telling you the things you don't want to hear, but you're going to need to hear in order to get your home or to get through a home inspection or to help with financing. We've got to have some of those difficult conversations but by going with someone who's only really going to blow smoke up your butt, you're never going to get the real representation and the real realtor who should be looking out for you. Here's another one. Another red flag, especially realtors who ghost you, agents who ghost you, completely don't communicate with you, or they pressure you into buying something you hate. We're going to talk more about that in just a few minutes, or talk more about their commission than your needs. If at any point in time you get that used car salesman feel, just go, just swipe left and move on with life. There are, again, 3 million agents out there. You've got plenty to pick from. So, with that in mind, when it comes to them trying to talk you into something that you absolutely hate, there are a ton of investors out there, some good, a lot not so good. In fact, there's an investor in our area who flips a lot of homes. And one of the more notorious things they don't do in the homes that they're flipping is they won't actually connect the countertop in the kitchen to the kitchen cabinets. Yeah, I've gone into many of their kitchens, walked over, and the first thing I'll do is pull up on the countertop. And if it's not connected, it's a real quick, obvious look from my clients as we're going through the house that we can probably stop this showing right now, because if you haven't connected the cabinet to the counter, what else haven't you done? So find an agent who truly is looking out for your needs and going through a home as if they were buying the home for themselves. Now, at the end of the day, I always tell my folks, you're an adult. It's your money, it's your home. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. All I can do is help protect your money and your safety by going through the different homes and letting you know the things I see as we're going through them. So, again, a couple of things not to be focusing in on when looking for an agent. And by all means, if they're talking at all about their commission, if if you get bruh vibe, like seriously, run. Like I just that is one thing it makes my skin crawl. So if you've got bruh guy, eh, unless you're a bruh guy yourself, maybe not the best fit. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what the commission check is. If I know you're in a house and 6 months, a year from now, we're going to meet up at a grocery store, just walking down through the aisles, we're going to have a conversation. And I know you are still doing great inside the house, and I don't have to worry about walking back out to the parking lot and see a knife in my tires. Okay. So, again, if the conversation revolves around commission checks or about the agent's needs, you're with the wrong agent. You're with the wrong realtor because this is all about you. Are you with me so far? We've talked about what not to look for and who not to be dealing with. Now, let's talk about what makes a good realtor. So, here are some things that you definitely want to be looking for. First, experience. They've done this dance before. They know the market, the process, how to avoid a disaster, and most importantly, when they get into a disaster, that they have the experience to know how to get out, and most importantly, how to get you out. Bonus points if they specialize in first-time home buyers, because let's face it, you're going to have a million questions. And I welcome those. Just met up with new clients over the weekend, and we went out yesterday for our very first appointment. And during our initial phone conversation, I was like, hey, great. Tell me what questions you have. And they said something that I hear from time to time, and I love it when I hear it, which is we have some questions, but then we also know we have questions that we know haven't even revealed themselves yet because we don't know yet. And that's a perfect spot to be in because this is all new. So don't be afraid to ask a million questions. And then at the same time, don't be afraid not to have questions because you will. And when they come up, that's our time to shine and show you the experience that those of us that know what we're doing will be able to prove to you. So experience really is key. And going back to the roommate's dog walker who just got their license, they can lean on the experience of the other folks on their team or in their brokerage that can help them. By the way, shameless plug. Uh, I am an agent with eXp Realty. I One of the things I love about where I'm at is I can connect my clients with any realtor from across the country. I just connected one of them that is looking to move back here to PA, but they needed a listing agent down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And within an hour, I had 3 agents that I was able to interview to help them out. Same thing with our oldest daughter last year when she was buying her first home. She's not buying here in PA. She was also down in South Carolina, but in a different area. And within a weekend, I had talked to 3, 4 different agents, had great conversations, was able to interview them, ask them some things about their business, how long they've been at this, how they handle first time home buyers, and how they handle the personality profile that is my oldest daughter and her husband. And it was great. And we were able to connect them with the best agent. And they had an amazing home buying experience with them. So if you have questions or you're looking for a great agent in your area, shameless plug, feel free to shoot me a message and I'm happy to connect you with a great agent in your area. So that'll also help simplify things. But if you're looking to DIY this yourself, totally respect it. And let's get back to our list. So, number 1 was experience. Number 2, communication. If they don't respond to your text or your emails promptly, what are they going to do when it's time to negotiate on your behalf? Look for someone who's going to be responsive, clear, patient, even when you're sending them 27 listings at 2 a.m. It happens. I got a bunch just the other night. So now let me dig into that because we do need to set some ground rules for communication. Keep it to, let's just say, normal workday hours. Now, normal workday hours in real estate are already skewed because it doesn't exist. But your agent's going to let you know, hey, I am working for me, I begin working at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I will shut things down at 9 o'clock at night. If anything happens after nine, there's really nothing that's going to happen after 9 o'clock at night that couldn't happen the following morning at 8. So if you're sending lists of homes and you're looking for immediate answers in the middle of the night, 1, 2 a.m., probably not the best time. Keep in mind, your agent also has a life. They more than likely have a family, and they also have things like going to the bathroom and taking a shower that they need to do from time to time. So just because they don't answer you back in 5 minutes or they don't answer you back when everyone else in the world is sleeping doesn't mean they're not a great agent. What I'm talking about is this is something I hear particularly when it comes to folks talking to lenders. But it does happen with agents where, oh, yeah, we messaged our agent on Monday and here it is Thursday and we haven't heard back from them. Here's the thing you have to keep in mind. One, the market can move dramatically fast. The house that you wanted to see on Monday could very easily be gone and under contract by Thursday. So, not being timely is going to be at a huge deficit to you as a home buyer. The other part when it comes to timeliness, and most importantly, is when you actually have your home under contract. You'll find out once you write a contract on a home, everything is time and date sensitive. From the time that you've got to have a good faith deposit over to the timeline you've got to have inspections done, timeline for getting mortgage paperwork filled out, timeline for appraisals, timeline for closing. All of it is time and date sensitive. And if they're not getting back to you with communication from the seller and doing it in a timely manner, not to keep harping on those two words, but timely manner is 100% part of being a great agent because everything is time sensitive in a contract. And if they're not getting back to you quickly and letting you know what the communication has been with the other side, it could actually put your contract at peril, meaning the seller could terminate your contract if you and your agent aren't communicating in a timely manner. And not only could they terminate your contract, they could keep your good faith deposit money, depending on the state that you're in. So just keep in mind that timely communication is key. It's paramount. So, one, you need experience. Two, great communication. And number three is a personality fit. And this is so huge. You're going to be spending a ton of time with this person. So make sure you actually like them. If their sense of humor or energy doesn't mesh with yours, it's okay to keep looking. This is a partnership. It's not a hostage situation. You're going to have agents that you're just going to gel with. I have clients of mine where I know from the minute that we meet up, oh, how are we not friends already? How are we just now finding each other? And then there are other folks I meet, and you're like, oh my God, let me get you somebody else because whew, this isn't going to work out for either one of us. And I'm gonna want to get out of this contract as fast as possible. So it is super, super important. And like we've talked about already on previous episodes, this really is a partnership and it's a relationship at the highest level because you're going to be spending time and sharing so much personal information with this person that if you don't have a good vibe, if you don't have good energy between them, it will make the home buying process that much more of a challenge. So, those are the things you want to be looking for: experience, communication, and how's the feel? How's the vibe, man? Because if it's not good, whew, this is going to get rough. So, now, how do I find this agent? There's a couple ways. One, talk to your friends, talk to your family, ask them who they used, who they had an experience with, and not just for a name, but how was the experience? How did it go? Did they, yeah, they were an agent and they got into the house and we closed. But the entire time they were ready to just stab themselves in the kidneys. What was that experience like? Or was it amazing? Because you want those amazing agent experiences from your friends or from your family. Just because Aunt Barb is an agent doesn't mean you should be using Aunt Barb. Maybe she's only done 2 transactions every year since 1978, and it's just a way for her to make a little extra money to go on vacation. But is she really up to date? Does she have enough experience with the way that the real estate market has changed just in the last year, let alone over the last 40 years? So make sure you're having and reaching out and interviewing some agents. So let's get into this next. So you've got a few contenders. You've got some folks that you're like, you know what? Maybe this is our agent. Interview them. Remember, you're the boss. You are looking for someone who's going to be servicing and taking care of you. Now, keep in mind, it's not speed dating. This is choosing the co pilot for one of the biggest decisions of your life. So, there are some questions you want to throw their way. And it really goes back to the things that we discussed already. First question: how long have you been a realtor? And how many first time home buyers have you worked with? Just because they're a realtor doesn't mean they want to work with first time home buyers. It's something that I specialize in because I enjoy the process. My background was as a DJ and working with couples putting together their wedding and helping a couple plan their wedding when it comes to the things they like, they don't like, what are the songs you want, what are the songs you don't want, how do you want the day to flow? That's very similar to helping someone buy their first home. How many beds do you want? How many baths do you need? What kind of acreage? Is there a school district? And putting together a plan. My business partner, on the other hand, he prefers to work with sellers. Personality wise, that's just how he's wired. He's a math person. I'm an emotions person. And 90% of home buying is emotions. 90% of selling a home is math. Guess which one I despise? You got it. It's the selling side. Give me people, do not give me numbers. So ask them how long they've been in the business, how long they've been a realtor, are they full time, and do they like to work with first time home buyers? Some do, some don't. You also want to ask them what's your availability. Will I be dealing with you directly, or with an assistant, or with another agent that you have on your team? I can tell you when someone's working with me, they are working with me the entire time, with an exception of once we get the home under contract, then I have a transaction coordinator, a assistant, an assistant, if you would, in air quotes, that handles the paperwork process. Now, I will write the contracts and do all that and do the negotiations. But once we get the home under contract, I then hand that off to her where she takes care of setting inspections. She becomes the point person for the mortgage company, the title company, the insurance company, and the buyer. But I'm still there. I'm still there working behind the scenes for them, and I'll be there at the time of the inspection. I'll be there helping them out when the appraisal comes back. I'm right there at closing. So it's not like I go away. I'm constantly there, but I have someone who's way better at paperwork and way more organized with paperwork than I am. She handles that. It's about having the key people on your team that service your clients for you or help you service your clients to the best of their ability. So ask them, hey, am I dealing with you directly? Or am I dealing with your assistant? And if I'm dealing with your assistant, when do they kick in? Question number 3: how do you handle bidding wars in a competitive market? It's a huge question to ask because if they have the experience and they've been around for a while, I guarantee you they know how to handle bidding wars in a competitive market. I am already looking at this year and with what we're seeing this week, the last week of January, which after this month of January feels like it's been 17 weeks long. It feels like we're already on the verge of an early spring market. Buyer demand way up right now. Home inventory, could be better. So with that being said, if there's a great home out there that's in good condition, there's a buyer for it. So the time on market that we saw lag in our area fall to the end of 2024, I don't think we're going to see that moving into the early sections, the early quarters of 2025. So how do they handle bidding wars? What is their strategy? What are some of the things that they do without selling you out as a buyer? Okay, that's important because that you don't want someone who's going to, at the moment you hit a multiple offer, all of a sudden wants to drop everything and now leave you fully exposed. There's a way to handle bidding wars while keeping yourself protected. And at the end of the day, it really is about what you're comfortable with. Don't let someone talk you into something that you're not comfortable with. Because again, this is your money, it's your home, it's your decision. Our job as realtors is to honor those wishes, those decisions, but guide you and give you the options that are available. So, again, how do they handle bidding wars in a competitive market? Super, super great question you want to ask. Next question. What's your approach to finding homes that fit my needs? You want to have that analysis. One of the things when I sit down with a new client is I ask them, okay, what are the things that are important? How many beds do you need? How many baths do you need? Um, is there a certain school district? Is there a certain area? Draw me a geographical circle, if you would, north, south, east, west of commute time. If you're not working from home and you're making a commute, how long do you want to be sitting behind the windshield going to and from work? Those things are extremely important. So, how do they come across that? Now, with that in mind, I know one of the conversations I always have with my folks is at any point in time, I'm going to be working with anywhere from 8 to 12 different home buyers at once. And between showing appointments, settlements, inspections, writing contracts, doing paperwork, and email, I may not be looking as often as you are because you're looking for your house. So you're naturally, emotionally already triggering on my phone, on my computer, on my laptop, looking for homes every single day. Oh, wait, is that a new one that just popped up? Oh, wait a minute, that one just went under contract. There's a high probability you may find your home and not your realtor just because of the amount of time you have in your schedule devoted to your specific search as opposed to what your agent's available time is. Because remember, they have other clients they're working with that they're searching for them as well. We all have a system in place to help our clients search for homes, whether it's an auto search drip campaign that happens where we put your information into our database, into our MLS, and then it naturally does some automated searches for you. And there's old guys like me who, once we've been together for a minute, I now can see through your eyes what is important in a home. And I watched you react to certain things in a home. So, therefore, as I'm going through and looking in the MLS, looking for homes that are available, I can now view that home the same way you are and be able to fine tune and really narrow down that search. So you're really seeing the best homes that fit your needs and not just a bunch of homes. That you want to be looking for the homes that are within the circle and not the ones in a wide lens. You really want to be focusing in on those homes that most closely fit your needs. So, how do they approach finding homes for you? And then can they provide references from past clients? Do they have a past client list that will put their hand up and go, oh my God, you want to work with Adam? Oh, hell yeah, man. He was great. Let me tell you about the time we were buying a home. And by the way, if they can't provide you some clients, run, hang up, move on from the interview, thank them for their time, and move on to the next agent interview because that is a huge red flag right there. And of course, through all this, don't be afraid to trust your gut. Above all, trust your gut. If something feels off, keep going. You know, just move on. You're not going to hurt anybody's feeling. All right. So we've talked about what not to look out for. We've talked about what to look for, and we've gone over interview questions to talk with your agent about to see if they're going to be your agent. Now, let's talk about the don't settle. All right? I know it's tempting just to pick the first realtor you meet and hope for the best. This isn't a blind date. It's a business relationship. Take the time to find someone who clicks with you, who knows their stuff, and genuinely wants to help you succeed. You and your finances deserve that. Remember, the right realtor isn't going to just help you buy a house, they're going to help you find a home. That's a huge difference. The conversation we had last week with Isabel, you heard it in her voice. You know, everything about that is about the community. It's about the relationship. It's about making sure you're taken care of. Agents like that, those are the people that you really want on your side. So finding that right realtor, again, it's not just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and hey, I see you when I see you. It really is about forming an amazing relationship with someone who's looking out for you and is going to help you find a home. And I know we were talking about this a little bit last week. Don't look at this as just another purchase. It's not just another article of clothing. It's not just another pair of sneakers. It's not even a car. You're going to celebrate holidays. You're going to celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Boxing Day. You're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. You're going to have kids' birthdays. You're going to celebrate anniversaries. You're going to have a whole series of first experiences in your home. So this isn't just a house. This isn't just another purchase. This is where you're going to lay your head at night and get some sleep. It's where you're going to come home from work every single day and look for some peace, some relaxation, some salvation from the craziness that is day-to-day life. So don't treat this as I got to rush through this to get a house. Give us the time and the energy that it really, really deserves. And most importantly, you deserve. So don't lose sight of that. With all the craziness, don't lose sight that you are truly out there to find home. So after all that, if you're still feeling overwhelmed, don't worry, you totally have this. And if you're still not sure where to start, give me a shout. I mean, I know a thing or two about helping people find the one. So keep that in mind. If you need help, reach out to your Uncle Adam. I got you. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who's one Google or Facebook post away from picking a terrible realtor. By the way, if you ever are feeling alone, you're like, no one wants to talk to me. I have no one to talk to. I just feel alone, wrapped up here in my blanket. Go to Facebook and post who knows a good realtor, and you will be bombarded with 5,000 comments of people you've never even heard before in your life. That is not the way to pick a great agent. So until next time, happy house hunting, and may your future realtor be more of a fairy godmother or godfather than a used car salesman. This has been your Uncle Adam. Thank you for tuning in. This is the First Time Keys podcast. I'll see you guys next time.